Hello everybody, welcome along to JACKOCAR. It's the Cup Series Season 3, Round 10. It is the Austrian Grand Prix, and it is today we decide the 10 drivers who go through to the playoffs. A big day in the season. I'm your commentator Owen White, with me is Jacko. We love this place, the drivers love this place, the championship loves this place. Can't wait.
And Austria so far is yet to fail us of a good race, Owen. You think back to Season 1, MK Bourne leading the race, didn't win it. Season 2, last season of course, risky. P20 in the standings, come through, wins the race, advances to the playoffs. And once again, it's set up nicely for us to have an exciting race. I mean, you look at the 4 drivers currently in on points. Jake O'Sullivan 18. All he's got to do is turn up and he advances, but then you've got Thomas +5, Cam +5, and Redmat +4. Below them is OKK -4, Brandon -4, Risky -6, last season's winner, Riley -7, Corey -14, Janel not racing, he will be in the chase, and then the 4 drivers, Pete, Dexter, Kieran and Camo Babo, must win tonight if they wish to advance to the playoffs.
Oh, look at this. Tipping it down. Tipping it down in qualifying. That might well shake the grid up nicely. And that's exactly what these championship contenders would not be looking for really tonight. Because I mean, it'll help some people. It'll help some of those outsiders that are outside the top 10 thinking, if I can just get a lucky victory tonight, this could be the first step towards achieving that.
Do you know what, Owen? The first person I'm looking to seeing this wet weather is Pete.
Yes.
A man who I think 2 of his 3 wins have come in wet conditions. It's set up nicely. It's a man, what was he, P18? He needs it.
Absolutely. I mean, this is, like I say, it's a big chance. Corey as well, you got to look at.
Yeah. As
someone who has just had the most dreadful season. Maybe the rain doesn't help him, but I'm sure he will be liking the variety. He needs to get out of the grid because he had such a nightmare, especially last week when he ended up crashing with the AI car. Was on what could have been the race-winning strategy. Would have been right up there, especially with J-Luke's sort of problems, and he still won the race. So there's just a few moments for Corey this season. This might well be his last chance, as we see the first car coming out of the pit. Now this is MK Bourne in for Janel.
Yes, and this livery is to honour the deaths of course, the late Murray Walker and Sabine Schmitz, of course, this morning she died, and also a personal friend of MK's through work who also died in the past week. So honouring the 3 of them tonight with this solid black car, which, you know what, I think looks very, very nice.
Yes, looks very slick as well. The black helmet works quite nicely with it, doesn't it?
Indeed.
So, yes, he is out there in his number 12 machine, and it's intermediates then. From what I can tell, they're saying dry or wet, sorry, the whole session, but Corey's not happy with something. So I don't know if the weather's going to fluctuate during the session, whether it's going to get wetter as the session keeps going on. Once again, really going to help some of those outsiders, or if it's going to get drier later on, in other words, screwing the first 10 and helping the others. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens.
Some are saying heavy rain to then light rain, and others are saying it's the same all throughout, which I hope it is. Otherwise it's just going to benefit the drivers who are always up front. We want a mixed up grid, don't we? We always do.
Yeah, Corey's not happy. But well, we'll see what he's upset about. It might well be just the weather forecast isn't showing him what it's showing everybody else, because that does tend to happen on this game quite a lot. But yeah, it does appear it's getting drier throughout the session. Arnold's saying it in our chat. So yeah, it could be inters throughout though, so it might not be that big of an issue. But anyway, MK Bourne, the first lap out there. This is going to be the benchmark, and it'll be interesting to see sort of what lap times we'll be looking at. Really, not too sure what you'd expect in the rain here. Something sort of like a 110.
I know a few of the guys are doing 102s. Of course, everybody does dry practice, don't they? But nobody does wet practice.
I'd imagine it'll be about a 1:10, something like that around here, because I don't imagine you'd lose that much. There's still plenty of straights, isn't there? There's only a few corners in that midsection. It's like a glorified go-kart track, this.
Yeah.
So we'll see what NK Bourne comes up with, and then we'll have that as the benchmark. Luckily he's kept it all valid, but it is these last two corners where you tend to get some invalidations when you give it too much into turn 9. And you can see how little control he's got of his car, NK Bourne, really crawling round. But he will get to the line, and he will set a 1 minute 13.7.
There's the benchmark then.
Indeed, there is the benchmark. Now, next up on the track, we've got Camo in his number 2. He's run that livery pretty much all season, hasn't he? We haven't really seen him in much else.
It's like a sunburst purple and red on the front with yellow. I've said it before, I like it.
It certainly stands out, but it's just a shame we haven't really been able to see much of it apart from these qualifying sessions, because he's had such a miserable season. I mean, he's second out on track. That tells you all you really need to know. Someone who got through, didn't he? You know, he was really up there last season.
We've said it before. He went all the way to Brazil and fought for a title. He finished 5th overall last season. But here he is. If it wasn't for MK Bourne, he would actually be out first in qualifying. As he comes up to the line here, I don't know what it's going to be. It's a 1:13.5, so improvements already as we move on to Kieran.
Yes.
Who, much like the other two, and Pete is in a must-win situation.
I hope it's going to get all these lap times being absolutely full sends, and maybe the front guys might back it off a little bit, especially in that top 10 if they're needing a higher position. They just want to make sure they get a lap done. So even if the weather does muck us about, it could still be quite varied just because of people's commitment levels. As Kieran comes through towards the final corner, let's see how he's going to get on. Oh, he's left the session. No, that's a shame, isn't it? It's put him straight back in the pits as well, so his car will not even get to the line to finish a lap. So that's a real shame, that is. That goes 5 seconds later, he gets the lap done.
I don't know, was he going faster? Because that is a shame.
He was looking quick, wasn't he? But didn't end up paying off. Here's Dexter anyway. Let's hope he doesn't have those issues as he heads around to finish his lap in the final sector at the moment.
Yep, new helmet for Dexter as well, looking very nice.
Yes, the green and the bits of yellow in there as well, I can see from the far back view. Then of course his normal ERT colours. Then he goes up to P3 with that lap. Now a big lap coming up for Pete then. This has to be P1.
It has to be. This whole season, Pete's whole season, could depend on this qualifying lap right here.
Apparently Kyle's having some problems as well with his connection, so we might not see much of him as well. That'll help this man as Pete comes through the last 2 corners now. He's kept it all valid so far. Bit slidey, but he is getting round. And as he comes up to the line, this has to go P1, but will it? Yes, it will, by just over a 1/10 of a second. We'll see if that's enough for him at the end. Here is Corey as he heads round. Look at the back end on that car. He's absolutely all over the show on the exit of turn 3. A difficult corner in the dry sometimes to get right. In the wet, it can be quite a nightmare. But he is still keeping it facing in the right direction. He wants to seriously get his championship fight back on track, and it's his last chance to do so. Of course, there's always a chase, but I'm sure he'll want to try and get through tonight. A big ask, but it is purple in that middle sector, so let's see if he can convert it to a fastest lap.
He's not in a must-win position, but much like Pete being -14, the easiest way to do it is to win it. As he comes around this final couple of corners here into this final turn where it's so easy to invalidate. And back on the power, up to the line, Corey goes fastest.
There we go. That's a better lap, isn't it? That's what we're expecting. Let's see if it goes a bit faster than that as the session goes on, but if it doesn't, then Corey's in a nice position as it stands. As we follow next, Riley, and he's just gone off the track. Will that stay valid? Yeah, he's had an accident, hasn't he? Might have been on the exit of 1, perhaps he's done that, losing the rear end. But he's either way gone wide and off the track through turns 2 and 3. Still, keep the lap going. There might well be invalidations out there. Every position counts, and I'm sure he's aware of that. Let's see, hopefully for his case, if there'll be any invalidations out there. All he's got to do really is keep it valid, but that means we can move over. Oh, has he lost it there, has he?
Almost. Go on to Risky.
Yeah, see Risky. See how he's getting on. Well, yeah, Risky's catching that lap up, so we'll catch the end of his lap then. Yellow flags up ahead, that won't really affect him too much as long as they don't get in his way. Riley is the next car ahead, I think. And he will be trying to finish that lap, so this could be quite the awkward one, I think. Oh, sorry, it's Brandon actually, so he'll be going full speed out that last corner. Riley, oh, Risky. Thought he was going to invalidate there, but he didn't. He's gone P2 instead.
Good lap. On to Brandon, back in the green, Owen.
Yes. Now,
Kyle rejoins us.
Was wondering if he was going to get a slipstream there. Brandon off Riley, but he did move out of the way. Riley in the end was 7.7 seconds off the pace. So unless anyone else has any other dramas out there, that won't be beaten. Or that won't be, no one will slow them, sorry.
Apparently there's Codemasters servers issues at the moment I'm seeing. But the free drivers who left us have now rejoined.
Yes, you can see.
If you restart your game, you should be able to get back in. If you leave, if you're one of the drivers watching the stream.
Yeah, we saw Kyle come back.
On Brandon.
We saw Kyle come back. We saw Jamie come back.
Kieran too.
Kieran as well. So that should be everyone okay for the race start. But that's two big names there, Jamie and Kyle, who aren't going to get to take part in the qualifying session.
Two drivers who have advanced at least, so they won't mind too much. Jamie getting it done last week.
Here comes Brandon out of the final corner. The line is there, but where's he going to go? He goes P3. Half a tenth behind Risky. Okay.
One of his preferred tracks, and I must say this livery is to honour the death of Sarah Everard, of course the young lady who lost her life a couple of weeks ago now, as he goes P1. That's massive.
There we
and
go.
a good statement for women's safety everywhere. KK. Hopefully see that in the race up towards the front.
Well, yeah, if he's setting lap times like that in qualifying, he's a driver that will be looking for a big performance. He's 11th in the standings, only -4 off, so that would put him already in such a handy position. But yeah, certainly a lovely livery, and a great lap time to go with it. Next up, we've got Redmat, have we? And he's on a good one. He's on a good one. Let's see if he can keep this one on the road, because if he does, that'll be looking top 3. I do wonder if, as Arno was saying, the rain would get lighter throughout the session. Maybe we'll expect all these lap times to be getting slightly quicker from everybody as the track gets a bit more grippy.
No one invalidates.
Yep, P1 for Redmat as well. So these lap times are all going down. Here is Cam next. Let's see what he's getting up to as he heads round. 17.4 for the first sector. We'll see if he can keep it all on the track and get himself up to P1 as well as he heads through the middle sector. Oh yes, this is definitely a pole position time. If he keeps us on the road, this will be a pole position time by some distance. That rain really is getting so much lighter as he heads through. So it's a top 10 in the championship. He'll be really benefiting from all of this. Means the guys who have to get high finishes in the race will have to really work for it, as Cam goes P1 by nearly 7 tenths. So yeah, you can see it on the screen, can't you? The rain is so light now compared to what it was at the start.
What a shame for people like Corey and Pete who are in that position where they don't need this. Thomas, you know, if Cam and Redmat and OKK are going faster, Thomas will also go faster. It's just a fact, I'm afraid. Driver not on form, not hit form this season. But it's coming. I'm sure it will. Purple, sector 2.
Not a particularly strong lap though so far. He's about 6-7 tenths off Cam at the minute. The game seems to be as usual, giving everybody purple sectors when they aren't, which is really helpful for us commentators when we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Classic.
But here he comes, Thomas on the final corner. What's the last sector going to be like? Not particularly amazing. It's a P5, so that gives Corey some hope. Gives him KK hope as well, and Redmat. As we see next on the track, we have got Jake.
Has traditionally been a good qualifier as well.
Yeah, he's been starting recently to sort of translate that into good results in the race as well. I feel that win really is coming for him now.
Oh yes.
He'll be looking to do that in the playoffs and really cement himself in a good position for that Championship 5, because I really do think we could see him there. as he heads through. Once again, it's a bit similar to Thomas, that middle sector. Not really anything to light the timing screens up. Cam, with a healthy gap out front, will be liking this. He'll be seeing slightly slower lap times, and he will be feeling probably quite confident as Jake comes up to the line. And yeah, it's a 6/10 off pole position once again. Cam has really nailed these conditions by the looks of it. Now, Jamie has been able to get his lap started, and he is going quicker than Cam in that first sector.
Poor old Kieran is the man who's going to miss out then. Getting disconnected early on by the game. But Jamie and Kyle are able to get back in their cars and in time to set a lap. So Kieran looking like he's going to be starting from the back.
Here is Jamie. He's still on for that P1. Could well be the first lap time in the 1:11s today for the man who won last week's race. So well he drove as well, with the double overtakes, confident overtaking, superb pace. Something that we haven't really seen too much from him all season, but he's finding his form now.
Totally deserved race win as well. Almost as good as Mexico last season. And there it is, the sub 1:12, a new provisional pole time. Iceman, what can he do?
He's invalidated, that's what he's done. Oh dear, he starts in last. As it stands,
he has advanced on points anyway, so not a big deal.
He'll be too particularly happy with himself though with that. It's a shame for him. Here is Paul McGuinness. Everyone from this point on is obviously through. And Paul McGuinness, another driver that had a good race last week. Anyone who had any doubts about him after Hungary, those will hopefully have been sort of shut down by his performance last week, because as you rightly said, he would have been through to the playoffs anyway with how his form has been this season, even if he wasn't handed the victory in Hungary. He's been driving much better than last season, and he'll be looking to put this up at the front of the grid. But here he comes, round the final corner. Paul McGuinness, where's he going to go? P3. Still a long way off Cam and Jamie. I don't know what those two have been doing, but they've been so much better in these conditions.
Yeah, say rigged or not, he is a genuine driver. Genuinely should be up there as well. Comes Arnold.
He had a good first sector. Did Arnold, was purple. A 17.2. Jamie's was a 17.3, I think, and the middle sector was a 49.6. So we'll see if Arnold can match, if not beat that. Here he comes. He is beating it still by that 1/10 of a second, so this could be a provisional pole time. But look at the back end. He got on the curb, but he's somehow kept it going. That might have taken that 1/10 advantage off him. Let's see how he takes his last two corners. Keeping it valid, but has he blown that pole position? Let's see as he comes to the line. He still gets it by 0.2 of a second. Arnold on provisional pole. And look at Kyle, he's 0.3 down on him in the first sector already. That is a really good lap from Arnold. But everyone watching that will know there's time to find in that last sector. Let's see if Kyle can do it. He was a bit... well, this is one of his worst races last season when he was so dominant in the early stages. So he might well struggle, and he is struggling on this lap. He's half a second down on where Arnold was.
He's still 25 for 25 in terms of race starts and top 10s. The only man to achieve more than 20 top 10 finishes in a row. The only man to do it. Oh, he's sideways for that final corner, keeps it valid. What can Kyle do?
Just a bite by under 100th of a second as Arnold takes himself out of the session in the wall. That won't really affect Khalifa too much. He is heading round the last man. So it's Arnold on provisional pole. Jamie second, Kyle from Cam and Paul. Will Khalifa put himself up there? At the minute he's down on Arnold, but this is where Arnold lost the back end. Khalifa's had no such problems. Let's see what he's going to do in these last two corners.
Khalifa invalidated a 1:02.2 earlier in the day, so can he transfer that across to the wet as he has a moment? He does a Verstappen round the final corner, Owen.
He's absolutely given it everything. Total commitment, and it's done. It's worked. He made 0.3 in that last sector on where he needed to be.
Wow.
Pole position for Khalifa. Brilliant lap. He really had to hook that up. He was right to the edge of the track limits in turn 9. It was brilliant to watch. And this is the grid we're left with then. Khalifa on pole from Arnaud. Then Jamie, Kyle, Cam, Paul, Jake, Redmat, OKK, Corey, Thomas, Risky, Brandon, Pete, Camo, Babo, MK Born, Dexter, Riley, Kieran and Iceman. Now, since it's a wet qualifying session and we're expecting a dry race, it means everybody will be able to choose whatever tires they want. There's no restrictions on that. And who's on a Joker today? Do we know?
Camo Babo, 15.
Right then, so he will, yeah, maybe try something a bit different, but for the most part, I'm pretty much expecting everyone to be starting on either the softs or the mediums. It tends to be the norm, really, with a two-stop rule, so I'm sort of expecting that. Here, I do wonder how many will get the mediums out of the way first today, now they've got the opportunity to.
Just going to say credit to 19 of the 20 drivers. Of course, Kieran got disconnected, but 18 of them set valid lap times in the wet. Incredible stuff. Iceman, the only man to invalidate.
Right then.
Dry race. I am half preparing myself for a lobby restart with the disconnections we just had, but hopefully we get through without a problem.
We're hoping that we're not going to end up stuck in this phase, aren't we? Where no one can start, because I do sort of fear we're going to be looking at that at the minute, because we're still stuck there watching everybody's name with a spinning circle on it, and no one appears to be readying up. Maybe they're just, you know, meticulously planning what they're going to do. There we go, Camo Babu, the Joker man, first ready. They took their time there. I wonder what was taking them so long, but we aren't having any issues with that. Hopefully everything's going to go without a hitch. Let me know in the stream chat, by the way, if the 1080p quality is actually working, because yes, I do want to have these, you know, look good, because I was watching the highlights from last week and thinking the 720 was not working. We're just doing 1080 with normal frames, not 60 frames, and it actually appears to be working. So you're getting JACKOCAR in proper quality now. And yeah, look at that, pole sitter is on those mediums and a few others as well, wanting to get them out of the way, as I said, and then they'll be able to go full send on the softs towards the end of the race. Obviously that would leave them a bit vulnerable if we got a safety car at a bad point for them, but that's the only sort of risk they have. They'll be hoping that yeah, mediums work. So the people doing mediums: Khalifa, Jamie, Jake, OKK and Riley. The rest of them all on the softs, and look at Cam, he's had a spin already into turn 2. That's a flat out corner in a F1 car.
Interesting place to have a spin.
Yeah, so I am wondering if he's hit someone.
Then gets disqualified, similar to what Matt had in Australia.
Yes, it's an awkward one, that. But oh well.
Despite the mixed up qualifier, look at that famous 4 up front.
Yeah. We're getting a bit used to those 4, aren't we, at the front?
We are. Well, Khalifa, Arnaud and Kyle are statistically 3 most successful drivers in the league. 4th is Pete, 5th is Jamie. It's Pete way down in P14, the Season 1 champion. Facing, at the moment, a trip through the chase. It'll be his first time. Kyle looking at 2 seasons in a row, just like J-Luke, just like Arnaud. 3 seasons in a row. Khalifa hasn't been to the playoffs since Season 1, but tonight we decide the final 4 places for the Season 3 playoffs. 4 will go through, 10 will go to the chase. Khalifa, Arnaud, J-Luke, Kyle, Paul and Iceman are already there. Who's going to join them? Owen White. I think we're in for a classic.
I certainly hope so. I'm really wondering if we are going to get a classic Austria upset today. Because yet we're setting it up so well. Look how quick all the drivers in the first 4 positions are. I was just asking to get shaken up. There's a few drivers near the back of the grid who'll want to get involved. And like I say, people on that medium strategy at the start, it might work, but it might go disastrously wrong. That's where you might get these mixed up grids. But we're now getting ready for the race start here in Austria. And when the 5 lights go out, we will be underway. Here we go. It is Khalifa on pole on the right, and it's Arnaud on the left. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. No, I'm expecting Arnold to get the best start on those softs, and indeed he has had the best start. He's straight into the lead already. Side by side, a Fitterman towards turn 1, and a few trying to go 3 wide. Khalifa's into Narnia. He's into the wall as well. Damage for Jamie as well. That's 2 of the front runners already straight out of the running. But they will have a chance to pit, and maybe that'll help them later on in the race. But for now, we get a safety car. How damaged are their cars? That's the big question. Khalifa's, that's not damaged enough, is it? He's only lost the end plate. Oh, that is a disaster for him. Now, let's see, where is Brad? Was it, who was it? It was Jamie. His is damaged enough to pit, but Khalifa on those mediums, that's a nightmare and a half for him right now. And the pole sitters at the back, unable to pit. What a mess. Arnold, though, held his lead.
Traps. It's a bogey track for Khalifa. Jamie, not so much. I'm looking at Tasso and I'm seeing Jamie and Riley, the only 2 drivers with enough damage, according to Tass, eligible to pit. But Khalifa, MK Bourne, Pete, Risky and Jake, the others with damage, do not have enough as per what I'm looking at on the telemetry.
Right, well, let's see what's going to happen then. Who's going to pit at the end of this first lap? Will they all remember the rules if they want to pit? They're all staying out at the moment, but it'll be from 13th down where we expect the first pit stop. There is Jamie into the pits. He's also on the mediums. He'll be able to go with 2 soft tyres to the end of the race, if they last, of course. He can obviously do a second set of mediums if he wants. That fresh set is only 1 lap old, so they're very much usable at the end of the race. Also in the pit is Riley, doing the same thing on those mediums, also with the broken front wing.
That is correct. J. Luke and Riley, the only 2 who can pit, and they have pitted, so well done, everybody remembered.
Riley is putting on mediums, Jamie's putting on softs. And Kieran also got a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting and gaining a place. So that's why he's got a penalty there. But yeah, what a start that was from Arnold. He sort of had to do that on the softs, and he's lucky he did, because obviously it all went off behind him. But he now has a great chance to go for the victory. Could we see Cam maybe make a push for it? I'd love to see him win a race. He's right out there at the moment.
So he's a man who could really benefit from this. And did he not finish 3rd here last season, if I'm very much mistaken?
He was very much in the fight for the win, wasn't he, for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd actually used his Joker here last season to get him there, but he was certainly putting himself right into the running anyway, and he's doing that again at the moment.
I recall that final restart being Connor, Camo, Pete and Risky.
Cam has had a collision with Red Matt, and Red Matt's the one with the front wing damage, and that's enough to pit. And well, like I say, Red Matt, that will be a pit stop if he wants it, if he can get in. Apparently you're saying he's not in the session?
According to what came up on my screen, he's not.
Well, we'll see what happens, but I have a feeling this safety car is going to be heading into the pit at the end of this lap, so either way, Red Matt in trouble, Cam with the penalty, and it means that Paul McGuinness, and more importantly Corey, could have a sort of net P4 right there straight away. Corey will be feeling very confident seeing this at the moment. He's already made 4 places up. He'll be making a couple more as well on the restart, which, like I say, I think will be coming at the end of this lap. So look out for the message. There it is, safety car in this lap. The lights have gone off on the top of the safety car, and now it is Arnold who gets to set the pace.
Corey just needs to keep his head like he hasn't done for the last 9 weeks. He can win this race. He can, that's the thing.
He has to, really. For his own sake, he'll want to get in with a victory. Put himself in a strong position, get some playoff points as well, sort of, you know, on the board if he can.
OKK looking good as well at the moment.
And there goes Arnold. He has put his foot down, and it looks like Red Matt's heading straight for the pit lane already. He's on the inside of that penultimate corner, so with that front wing damage, he'd be lucky if no one runs into him. And yeah, the front wing damage, he understeered like mad, and well, that's ruined his race. Risky's into the pits. Oh, it is, isn't it? But he's managed to avoid everyone.
I'm not sure that's totally legal what Red Matt's just done.
Well, I guess he sort of felt he had no choice, but I'm sure you'll look at it anyway. Yep. So, some front wings being changed. Risky's, Red Matt's definitely. We've got Pete into the pits as well. We've got MK Bourne. All for front wings, all for medium tyres. Jamie's passing Khalifa on his soft compound tyres, and Kyle is trying to challenge Arnaud. He's getting very close to the back of the race leader, but hasn't found a way through yet.
And Owen, keep your eyes on Risky and Pete coming through from the back. They worked brilliantly as a team last season. Can they do it again, and now on the same strategy by the looks of things?
It's certainly one worth looking at for a while. But yeah, like I say, Kyle on Arnaud, that is the fight for the lead at the moment. Both drivers have got nothing to lose, really, because they're already through.
Both drivers on 7 wins total in their career as well, so it's bragging rights behind Khalifa, who is on 9, the current league record owner of most wins. Paul McGuinness sets the fastest lap in the early stages.
Looks like Thomas has gone past OKK into turn 1, but OKK certainly still on his rear end.
Inside of Paul.
And Corey, as you say, is going through on Paul McGuinness, who's gone onto the yellow sausage curb on the exit of the corner. That gives Paul McGuinness a bit of a trouble, but he will might have the slipstream on Corey, but I don't think he'll be going for that. He's not using his ERS or anything, so he's let Corey go there. And Corey can now chase after Camo Bava, or after Cam, I should say. Cam Bava was, speaking of him actually, he's
Cam.
in a fight. He's actually in a fight with Brandon. He was P8 briefly, but he's now back down to P9. He's just got to keep his nose clean right now, because he is in a very nice position at the moment. He'll be looking for a lot of points today.
He's not had a lot of points all season, so I think Kieran come in 3 races ago. He's already doubled the amount
Kyle's in.
Babo has, so KK pits as well along with Kyle.
Yeah, so that's Kyle going for the undercut there on the race leader. Medium tyres for him, unsurprisingly. And let's see what he can do. Meanwhile, Corey is closing in on Cam, who hasn't got any DRS to use. Corey, of course, does have 3 zones to use. And he's got plenty of ERS as well at his disposal, so he can do a lot of catching up here. Or he could follow Kyle's lead and go for a pit stop. But you'll notice that he has ended up behind Jamie and Riley, the 2 people who had the damage at the start and the 2 people who were able to pit as a result. They've made ground up, and they're still in the net lead of the race, effectively, those 2.
Absolutely. And people tuning in to watch the stream, they're probably wondering what Corey's doing so high up the grid. It is absolutely genuine at the moment, guys, so promise me. Not promise me, trust me, I should say.
Yeah.
Cam looks to pit.
Oh, Corey nearly was too fast into there, because he had lost the back end. Was worried he was going to end up spinning that car, hitting Cam, but he luckily avoided him. I'm sure he probably had his heart in his mouth there though for a second, Corey. As he heads up to turn 1, he now loses the use of his DRS, his adjustable rear wing, but Paul McGuinness, if he wants to put any pressure on, losing it like that through turn 1 is not the way to do so. No.
Thomas up in P4 at the moment, he's having a good race.
Yeah, I mean, Camo Bavo's still up there. He'll be looking for Jamie. The first car that's really important for him, because he's the net race leader now. Comfortably net race leader. But it is Jamie behind who'll be looking to make that charge. You can see Camo Bavo at the end of the straight, so the race lead is in view. Another week where Jamie is trying to overhaul the Joker driver. The man looking to make an upset, because obviously if Camo Bava wins the race, he is straight through and really pulling a massive upset. But that's what the Joker's all about. Getting you that crucial win you need. You only need 1.
Yep. And if you decide to use it in round 10, then so be it. Dexter goes defensive, or is he looking to pit? It'll be a pit stop.
It's a pit stop. And a bit hairy for him, because he had a Jamie all over from there, but luckily there was no collision. Kieran into the pits as well.
Great minds think alike, Owen.
Yes, and I think Brandon, he wants to now have a go on Thomas, who's harvesting energy, while Brandon's using all he's got left. Down the inside in towards turn 3, and Thomas is caught on the exit, not able to do anything about that. Brandon up into P4 now.
And this gap to Arnaud up the front is closing. Glory down to 1.1, almost inside DRS. Top 7 yet to pit.
Yes, and Arnaud probably not really looking forward to when he does pit, because he might well find that he's being undercut, sorry, by Kyle. I wouldn't be at all surprised. So let's see, as he does come into the pits, will Corey follow him? No, he's going to stay out. Is there a playoff point on this lap?
9 and 18, isn't it?
Yes.
Corey
So
will get it.
yeah, that's why Corey stayed out then. I was wondering why he wasn't going to follow Arnold in, but that's why. He's going for the playoff points. And
the next one is lap 18, so what's that? I think that's 5 playoff points in total for Corey this season.
Yeah, you might find Camo, Babu or Jamie trying to go for that second playoff point if they can. But Arnold's coming out of the pits. Is Kyle going to complete that undercut? You'd expect him to. Even if he doesn't get him on the exit here, he should have a great run and a DRS as he heads up towards turn 4. But first of all, to run towards turn 3. No DRS, of course, here because he wasn't within his DRS range. If we get yellow flags, who has had an error? It's MK Bourne, who's got himself spun back around. But let's see, Kyle, can he make the move on Arnold? He might well feel it might be his only opportunity, but he's not close enough. And there was a chance there, but he'd used too much ERS in the first place. I think Arnold probably had more than enough to defend from him, as they both now look to start chasing Riley, who's sitting in a net third place. A massive 6.7 seconds up to old Jamie ahead there. It just shows how lucky he got with the front wing damage. But it's about how you take your chances, and Corey was in the pits. I don't know if Paul McGuinness might have even overtaken him before the start-finish line. We'll need to check that, because if Paul McGuinness had passed him before Corey got to the line, because it would have been well down to his speed limit, then Paul might actually have got that playoff point.
That's a good point, actually. Sorry, I was a lap ahead of myself, wasn't I? But we'll check back on the replays later on. I'm just having a look at this. Riley and Arnold, probably back to 2 weeks ago when they battled at Monza. This is technically for P3 place on the podium between these two. Once again, Arnold currently faster on track in all 3 sectors.
Right then, so I don't know what penalty Riley's got. Let me just quickly check that. He's only a 3 second. There's been quite a few actually for track limits and all that, but yeah. Arnold, he will not like just seeing Jamie so far ahead right now, because he really does need to get by Riley now. And then someone close up. He'll be looking for another safety car, but probably not right now, because at the minute his tyres are so young. He'll want to get well into the stint, then get a safety car, preferably when he's in the pit lane. But yeah, Paul is in the pits, leaves Camu Babo, the leader of the race, and that's a legit lead on his Joker strategy. So let's see how long he can hold on to it, how quickly Jamie can get past him. Obviously broke his wing on lap 1, so maybe a little bit wary as Arnold goes right round outside of turn 2. We can claim we can claim he's gone round the outside there. It's not really much of a corner, but he did go round the outside of it, and he's got through as a result. But Riley, of course, it's fighting for genuine position, so he's got every right to fight this one back. And Arnold will be fully prepared for that, I'm sure, as he holds it round the outside of turn 4, and Riley loses the rear end. He still has his ERS though. Wanted to try and close up and go round the outside of turn 6, but he decided against it. Doesn't want to have an accident. He will just now wait for the DRS and go for it then, maybe, if he can. But he's all over the show. That's not going to help his gap. But let's see if he can pose a challenge to Arnold on this main straight, or to turn 3, or even turn 4 if he fancies it. Here we go. That's the advantage of 3 DRS zones on the track. Kimi Räikkönen once said, you know, the whole track is half DRS now, so yeah, you can make good use of it. And
in all of that, Owen, we missed Corey overtaking Kyle.
Oh yes, indeed we did.
Corey's on it. He is at minus 14 off the cut line at the moment, and 14 points would be 3rd place on track, but he has to think about where OKK is, who is only 4 points away from that line, and P9, where Michael is right now, would get him 8 points.
Yes, so
everybody else in the top 10, with the exception of Riley and Camo Babo, would push them down once again.
Does mean Corey's got to get a move on then. Only a third of the way into the race, mind you, so still plenty of time to get things done. As Jamie is into DRS range now of Camo Babo. Camo's tyres 2 laps older than Jamie's. And we'll see how quickly Jamie can get past his rival.
Those 2 laps, by the way, don't forget, were under safety car, so not too much difference as I referred to TAS. Jamie's tyres are actually in worse condition, believe it or not.
Right.
So driving much harder than Camo.
Interesting.
Second, yeah. But he's pulled away from Arnaud, hasn't he? Arnaud's got no answer at the moment. Oh, sorry, not Camo. Arnaud had a bit of a slide out of turn 3. Gathered it up. Brings Riley back into play.
Yeah, Riley doesn't seem to be interested in trying to get back past, to be honest. I wonder if he is just thinking about Corey behind at this stage. I'm just trying to make sure he's protected from that. He'll sit in the DRS at Arnaud for defence more than anything at this stage of Corey. But back up to the front, Camo Babu's got no defence really ahead to help him, and he's also got a big X above his name. He's teleporting a little bit. Hopefully he doesn't DC. It would be a massive shame for him, because even if he doesn't win the race, second place is right there for him, and it'd be by far his best result of the season. But here comes Jamie then, out of turn 1, onto the DRS. He's got such a massive advantage, but he's not really taking it at the moment. He's probably saying what we're all saying, and saying Camo Babu's alien internet, and just thinking, right, I might want to stay clear. I'm probably much faster than him. I'll be able to get him at some point.
Or is he thinking like Khalifa thought 7 weeks ago, where it's better to have an outside driver come into the playoffs? Jamie to the inside, he's certainly not thinking that. He's going to make a move on Camo's laggy car.
Felt like a bit of a half-hearted move, that one, but Camo didn't fight it too hard. It's those half-hearted moves that sometimes end in disaster, but Jamie did get through, and he's into the lead of the race once again. Just like last week, beating the Joker driver on his way, and well, that could well be him set for the rest of the day. He's got such a big gap to Arnaud, and I'm expecting he will pull away from Camo based on how these two performed this season so far. So Jamie, looks like 2 wins on the bounce could be on for him. Meanwhile, Corey's now well into the DRS range of Riley. Let's see how aggressive he's going to be, because he can see a podium at least ahead of him.
And these are 2 of the most aggressive drivers on the grid. Riley and Corey, we've not seen them race much this season. I think we might be about to get a good serving of that. But Riley in the DRS of Arnaud, just using that as defence, like I said earlier. He pulled away from Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle's not really had much of an answer. He tried to go for the undercut on Arnaud and was close to him at one point, but as you can see, he's nowhere near him now. And it's falling further back. Like I say, it's a track he struggled at last season as well. It's just not something that suited him, this track. And it's proving that way once again. Cam trying to get past Thomas for P10. Thomas holding his line around the outside of turn 4, but through turn 5, Cam does get through and he's into P10. Back to Corey then. He's got a lot less ERS to use than Riley, so Riley is in a much stronger position in terms of being able to defend this attack. And Arnaud has now put his foot down. He's really closing on the front too, actually. He's down to 4.4 to Camo Babu. And, well, yeah, add another second onto that for Jamie. So, still a fight there, potentially, for later on. I think right now, that would mean that, well, it would mean that whole train's catching. So, Corey's the one with the most to sort of gain out of all this, I'd imagine. Not having the penalty that Riley would have to sort of hold him down. He needs to get by Riley, the Dutchman, first, and then he could really try and make a push for the race victory. And he's going down the inside. A late-breaking move, and Riley's front wing's gone flying. He did not see Corey coming, and it's cost him big time. Corey up into P4.
I'll be honest, I missed the move, but from what I saw, it looked okay. I was concentrating more on J-Luke's tyres, Owen. I expect him to stay out and claim the stage point at the end of lap 18 and then pit straight away for mediums. But yeah, as you say, Corey... Oh, J-Luke pits now, actually. What a call.
And Camo's gone in with him.
That's so to protect any potential race win, that is, I think. Call from Camo.
Well,
Arnaud resumes the lead.
I've been saying about Arnaud's pace. He'll be trying to now sort of pull off an overcut if he can. Depends on sort of traffic Jamie comes out into, and do you know what? He has come out into pretty nasty traffic. Look at this. He's got a train of 4, 5, 6 cars, and he's right in the middle of it. As Kyle does get by the damaged Riley, who's tried to stay out. I do fear, though, he will end up having to give in here and pit at some point, because that front wing damage is so bad for him at the minute. And it's because he didn't really see Corey coming. It was a bit of a dive bomb, we will admit, but it really didn't feel like Riley had seen the move coming. And well, when Corey arrived, he can't just disappear, sadly, and that's why the counter happened. But speaking of Corey, has indeed just closed right up onto Arnaud effortlessly. He is having a fantastic race so far. And in terms of the championship, that's exactly what he needed. If he can get by Arnaud in the next lap, he would also get a stage point as well. Whoever leads at the end of this lap gets it. Corey would certainly love it indeed, as he heads through turn 1, giving it full beans on the exit, onto the DRS. A bit of a slide, loss of traction, but keeps it all facing in the right direction. A couple of pit stops in there, I think, in that fight that Jamie's in the middle of, which helps him out a bit. But let's just quickly cut to him, and you'll see what he's having to deal with. As the Kieran's all over the back of Thomas, he's all over the back of Cam. And Jamie, yeah, he'll struggle to try and get through all this, especially with Kieran going for moves. So easy to pick up some damage here with simulation damage enabled. Let's see, how is Jamie going to get on? He's going to try and get by Thomas now. He's done that. But it will be slowing him down, this. It really will. He's thinking about a dive on Kieran, who saw him coming. But Jamie wasn't committed enough to try and make the move stick. He's now heading side by side in towards turn 6, trying to go around the outside of Kieran. He's made some fantastic moves this season so far, but he hasn't got that one off well. He's got a penalty. And he's still all over the back. And he wants to try and get it done in towards turn 9 now. That'd be a brave move. But he's really got to get it done now. He's losing so much time, and he has got past and into 7th place. Next up is Cam, and at the end of that he'll have a few seconds of clean air. But you can really see he's not improving any of his lap times. Arnaud was already going quicker than him before, so you can imagine that Jamie will still be losing plenty of time. That overcut working potentially quite nicely for Arnaud and for Corey. But let's see those two. Is there any chance of a move from Corey, or is he going to be trying to do it through strategy? Arnaud got the stage point.
Yeah, Arnaud got the stage point. You're correct on that. I'm just doing some quick maths here. As it stands, Corey is advancing to the playoffs. OKK, Redmat and Brandon are going home. Jake, Thomas, Cam will join Corey.
Well, that's Cam's front wing damaged. As Jamie goes round his outside and clatters into him. Nothing for Jamie though in terms of damage.
And that brings Risky back into the equation. He could advance if Cam ends up with major problems, but as it stands, Corey is on his way.
Look at Thomas now trying to get by. I think Cam's going straight for the pit lane. It'll be his last stop of the day. He'll have to try and turn this into some sort of undercut, but he'll be not happy in the slightest to see this one happening to him. Obviously, with OKK being so far down, he was running around in the top 10.
Speed Cam. Oh, I thought he was going to speed in there as Pete picks up a penalty.
Arnaud has lost the lead of the race to Corey in turn 2. It seemed a pretty simple move. We missed it, but we saw the end of it anyway. And Corey didn't know there was much of a fight anyway, as Paul McGuinness now tries to defend from Jake. Yeah, that's Corey into the lead now. But like I was just going to say, with OKK being so low, that's because so many people haven't actually made their pit stop yet. And you can see OKK's on new tyres, so he's just pitted. So it's all going to have to wait until we see those final pit stops, and then we can really get a good picture of it. But if Corey stays where he is at the moment in that P1, then he will be in a position to get through. I imagine as well, you know, that him and Arnaud will stay out and try and go for the sauce at the end, which will give them both a lovely advantage over Jamie, who's already, like I said, struggled enough in the last few laps and had the penalty too.
I think you're right, and it's all going to start to kick off in the next 6 laps or so. There's going to be a quiet period now based on strategy. In the last 10 laps it's going to come alive like Austria usually does. OKK the second car with 2 stops done, which puts him in net P3 behind J, Luke and Camo. But Corey, he's doing enough, and things you really would love to see. A race win for Corey after the regular season he's had? I think so.
Well, I think he needs it just in general. He's had such a terrible time in this league as a whole. It's never really went right for him. So you have yellow flags for Dexter, I believe, or was it Brandon? Riley it was. Broken front wing.
Brandon at the time, again, yeah. I don't know where Dexter is, P12.
Yeah, so I saw the black car go off, couldn't tell which one it was, there's so many of them. But we got our man, And for the second time in his race, Riley finds himself having to crawl back to the pits with a broken front wing. He will not be happy in the slightest, I don't think. As Cam cruises past, having just come out of the pits.
Kyle makes his second pit stop.
Going to the end, as you say, Kyle makes a pit stop. Jake as well. A lot of penalties out there, but crucially those top two don't have any. That's going to be so important for their race. I do wonder if those two are, avoiding fighting just because they can. No point encouraging mistakes and penalties. Those two both know the situation. They know they're, fighting Jamie still, and they're going to have to be on it at the end of this race. And also, I think Arnaud knows how badly Corey needs this win compared to him, who doesn't really need it in the slightest. He's already got playoff points for the stage points, so I mean he's doing plenty for his own championship chances anyway. Today's about getting everyone else in, and Arnaud maybe won't fight as hard to get involved. Nice. Corey pitting.
This time.
Is Arnaud going to cover him in pit as well? Yes, they are. And that'll be, I think they'll get sauce to the end from there. I don't see why they couldn't.
They should do, yeah. Maybe a bit of a longer stint than what you would want, but they'll go to the end.
Yes, well, here we go then.
McGuinness will take the lead of the race.
Soft tyres for Corey. Soft tyres for Arnaud. Let's see, Jamie's already gone clear. Is that train going to get in their way? Camo Babu still on that P2, of course, in this race. Has come out well clear of Corey and Arnaud, and those two now are going to be the men to watch for the rest of this race, because they're going to have to really get a move on and catch up to Jamie. The penalty for Jamie does help these two, but that 3-car train won't help them much, although Thomas and Iceman might well pit soon. Calababu, as we've said, on a joker, he's going to the end of the race. And he's only half a second away from the net race lead, actually. Because of Jamie's penalty. It's a shame for him, he's stuck in all the traffic. But the wind could still fall his way today, you never know. But it does feel like on the soft tyres, Corey will be past him soon enough.
Is it time to start the, let's say, in the next new race winner in JACKOCAR will be the 14th? Iceman,
did Thomas hit the wall? He has hit the wall.
He's spun, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. Has he broke his front wing? He has. Big time. Obviously he's also a driver well in contention to get into the playoffs today. That's not what he needed.
No, not
in the wall.
He actually puts him at threat.
He's only 5 points safe, isn't he? So this is not a good position for him. And Corey's back up to second place, but he's gone off the track, and I think Arnaud broke his front wing off Arnaud's car. Off Corey's car, sorry. So Arnaud's hit Corey's rear right tyre on the exit. He wants to try and get past him, but with that damage, you've seen how it cripples people's races already. And, well, Corey now only has to make 2 seconds on a set of fresh softs. That sounds pretty likely to me that he's going to end up winning this race as it stands. Because Arnaud's not going to be able to fight this. Well, with that damage. We saw what happened to Riley. We'll see the same happen to Arnaud. Camo Babu, crucially, didn't pick up any damage, but he did pick up a penalty. And Arnaud has just picked one up as well.
6% damage. 6% for Camo. So nothing major. He can continue.
Yes, Arnaud and Camo now with penalties as well. We have yellow flags. Don't know quite what that's for. It's around Thomas's area, but I think he's fighting away with Dexter. I don't know why there's yellow flags, because they weren't stopped or slowing really. But well, anyway, we're back to green flag racing. And well, let's have a look at Corey then. He is in position to win this race comfortably at this rate. All he has to do is get up in 3 seconds. He's doing that at the moment. He's only got 8 more tenths to make it back up, and he's got no real threats around him. No cars to lap, no one to fight. He can sit in that 3-second gap all day if he wants to. He doesn't have to go up and fight Jamie.
Yeah, look at that gap closing on the straights. He's so much faster than Jamie right now.
And well, this is a guy that was so angry last week after he had the race taken off him by the AI.
He needs this, doesn't he?
Indeed.
He genuinely needs this. I'm going to do some quick maths once again. As it stands, Corey is in the playoffs, first or second, it doesn't really matter. OKK has worked his way back up into a position where he is there. Brandon is just about doing enough over red map, and Risky is not doing enough at all. Thomas has dropped right down, but Jake is there. So Jake, Cam, OKK, Corey look to be the 4.
And
but it's going to be very close at the end of this race.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see Corey. He's now leading the race. That's
He'll want it on track.
In the 3 seconds. He'll want it on track up until the point where it becomes too dangerous, but he's made 3.2 seconds on Arnold anyway. And as you say, Campbell has a little bit of damage as well, so that will also sort of hinder him a little bit. It does mean Corey's in a comfortable position as at the minute. He's currently 15th in the standings, and at the minute looks like he's going to be parachuted right into the playoffs. But you know, on points, as we say, he might well have done it anyway, even if the win wasn't a guaranteed send through. So it has been a great race for Corey so far. It's what we've been waiting for, and finally looks like we're going to see it.
You got to look at red map, Risky, Cam, Thomas and Brandon. They're the names you want to look at. OKK, I'd say he's doing enough, but Corey is doing enough on points.
I'm just wondering if there's a chance here that Pete might end up falling to last in the championship at the end of this race. He's down in 18th at the moment, with Camo sitting up there at the minute. He might well get enough points to overhaul him at the minute. Kieran up there as well. Pete sitting down 18th, and I mean he's even got Dexter ahead of him. I mean, what a dreadful season he's had. He really does need to turn around like mad in the chase, because he's going to be lapped soon.
He's one of the few drivers who still has a Joker yet to come, so maybe that'll be the turning point. But as it stands, he is on course for a visit to the chase, something he's not experienced yet in JACKOCAR.
Indeed. That's a comeback story waiting to happen, though, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Isn't it just? But don't forget, we'll have
see the headlines. Oh, look at Camu, by the way. Camu had a look on R9 for P3 there, so he's racing here for the podium. He's not letting this one slip. He knows he's got a much more damaged car in front of him, and he knows he's got Jake. Once again, Jake finds himself up there in the race, and he's chasing them down. That'll be a fascinating scrap. They've all got penalties, those 3. Is it all a 3-second penalty? No, Jake's a 6-second, so he has got to get a move on. But here's Corey into the DRS range of R9 now. Of Jake, not Jake. I'm getting this terribly wrong. Jimmy!
So used to saying R9, aren't we?
I know, he's winning so much. Not today, though. Not today. Corey into DRS of Jamie. And Jamie losing the back end of it through turn 1. It's getting a bit squirrely. He can see what happened to him last week, where he was the one chasing. It's going to be roles reversed this time, and it looks like we're going to get the same result, where Jamie will be overtaken, just as Paul McGuinness was last time out. Here comes Corey, and it's going to be the race lead on track. Pretty comfortable as well. Corey leads in Austria, not just on penalties, but on track as well. And Jake, we'll talk about having to get a move on. He's straight past Callum Babu. I'm sure he'll be straight by Arnold on the next lap as well. And let's say after that, he's got to make a 3-second gap. And Kyle, with no penalties whatsoever, is on this as well. And, well, that'll be 6 seconds that Jake has to make, because they're both on 6 Apple tyres. There's no sort of indication that Kyle will be any sort of slouch here. So he has got to make sure Jake, if he wants the podium, he really gets this done quickly and pulls away quickly as well.
And going back to the move on J-Luke and Corey, were you like me? Did you take a deep breath in when he pulled to the right?
Not really. I trusted him, you know. I trusted him.
The season he's had, you just saw something coming, but he's got it all in his hands right now, Corey. He's going to come from, what, I think, P16? No, P15 on points to win and advance. Just like Risky last season, he went from P20 and won. New first-time race winner on the cards as we look at 6 laps to go. It's just fallen right for Corey. The right time to hit form as well as we come into the playoffs.
Look at Jake there trying to pass. Kyle's also passing Camu Babu in the background. You can see he's got that move completed, but Jake unable to get through on Arnold. Jake at the minute doing enough easily to get through anyway. He's got such a big gap to the guys behind. He should be in.
Yeah, he's fine. OKK I think is also fine, and Cam starting to recover now. The Cam, OKK, Corey and Jake are your 4 that are looking to join the other 6 of J-Luke, Arnold, Khalifa, Paul, Ben and J-Luke.
We'll obviously wait until the checkered flag flies to confirm all that, and I'll let you do all the maths so I don't call the wrong people. I'll be able to call Corey. I think I'll be able to do that, but he has to get that one done first. Arnold defending on Jake there.
Oh, Jake, he's losing it. That's going to give Kyle an advantage.
Kyle, like I said, he has to make 6 seconds on Kyle if he wants the podium today. That doesn't look very likely at the minute with 6 laps to go, and he's not by Arnold yet. Why am I getting those two mixed up? I don't get it. Speaking of which, by the way, Jamie's all over Corey. Has Corey ended up in the back of this back marker, or has he just been really slowed down by him? Look at this. This is really going to be stressing Corey out a lot. If you didn't hold your breath before, this is the time to. As Riley ignores that blue flag. I don't know if there's any team play going. I don't know why there would be, because Corey...
They're all different teams, Owen, and don't forget what happened earlier in the race where Corey went down the inside and gave him damage.
Look at that. Jake and Arnold are really going for it. That was so nearly a bit of an accident there. It's risky. Has had an incident. That could be a late safety car. It's a virtual safety car. That's going to give Corey time to think about how he gets past this back marker of Riley, but he'll be so frustrated there. But yeah, lucky people that wasn't a safety car, because that, can't even imagine what that would have been like at the end, because they would have got a proper restart just like last season. But luckily for them, they haven't got it, and that is risky confirmed to be on for a chase campaign.
Indeed, and Corey could not be behind anybody worse. He's sizing them up, isn't he? I'm just thinking there's something what happened earlier in the race is going to potentially come back and haunt Corey here. That's why J-Luke's so close to him.
I think we're about to go green again now. Looks like they've gone pedal to the metal, and they have indeed. Riley still at the head of that train. Corey just fell behind it a little bit. I wonder if he was just playing with his delta enough so that he wouldn't have to worry about the car ahead. There's nothing saying you can't go too slowly under a VSC as far as I'm aware. So yeah, he's caught right back up to him anyway though. So, and they'll be catching Pete soon as well. Like I said, he might well get lapped today, as he is looking. He's about to fall to last in the championship. Although Camel has fallen down quite a bit now, so maybe he won't, but it's still a miserable season for the Season 1 champion. Back to Arnold. He's now behind Jake, and he has Kyle all over him.
Hold on, Owen. I was just looking at Corey and Riley still.
Well, just I'm going to finish a fault there. Kyle doesn't really have to pass those two, so he might be quite calm on it. Oh, Corey's hit the back of Riley. Jake and Arnold still going for it. I wish we had these multi-screen views like they do in real F1, where we can watch multiple fights at the same time, because there's so much going on. Riley's had so many penalties through the blue flags, and I think finally he's not letting him go. He's not letting him go. And Corey's having I'd hate to be Corey in this situation. I really would. Arnold's now had a penalty. Riley might get the black flag soon, because obviously you can't just get infinite penalties. The black flag has to come at some point, and he's quite clearly still blocking. And Jamie is closing right on Corey, who's trying now finally to get by Riley. He has to get it done, but Riley's making it so difficult for him. Was it those two that had contact earlier when Corey went for the dive bomb? And that's it. That's payback as Jamie goes past. And I'm sure Riley will let him go. Is he going to cut back across? Oh my goodness, Riley's making this a real nightmare for Corey. I don't think he's aware, Riley, of Corey's penalties, and yes, he is indeed gone. He tried to sacrifice himself to get revenge on Corey, but he wasn't aware that Jamie had the penalty. He was quite clearly trying to manufacture the result there. I'm sure he's really proud of himself, until he looks at the standings at the end and think, that was for nothing, was it? Brilliant. Oh dear.
That's right, his race was over long before that, but
well, that's it. It was over thanks to the move from Corey. So yeah, that was him trying to get his own back.
Laps. Horrible.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out why he was doing that. I couldn't think, why is he blocking? Oh yeah, the dive bomb. Yeah, that would be it. That would be.
You should have listened to me. I was calling it.
Yes. Anyway, Corey's gone back past Jamie now on those softs. Grippier tyres, younger tyres, faster tyres. You'd expect him to get back past, and he has indeed done so. Riley, though, is in the pits, so yeah, they'll be about to lap him soon again on the final lap of the race, and he's got quite a lot of penalties to take as well, so that might end up lining up quite nicely. He wouldn't do it again, would he?
I don't know. He might.
I guess if he does it once and he'll find Corey back in the lead, he might think, right, no, I'm not having this. We'll keep our eye on him. Meanwhile, Thomas, Red, Matt, Cam and Dexter, they're all having a good wee fight as well. And Thomas right now, I don't know how his playoffs are looking. Like I say, we'll need to do the maths at the end of the race, but I don't know how many risks he wants to take at the minute.
1 to go. Corey on course for a race win and a place in the playoffs alongside Jake, who's going to be joining him. OKK looking good, and also I'm going to say Thomas.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how their wee scrap goes at the end. Jamie thinks about it on the inside of Corey. Corey will be thinking, don't you dare go anywhere near me right now. This is mine. He's weaving along the straight. He wants to break that toe so much, and do you know what? That might be the last attack over for Corey. That might be him in the position to take the victory now.
Indeed, yeah. 47 drivers have competed in a Cup Series race since the beginning, since the inception of the league back in February 20th, all the way in 2020 last year. Only 13 drivers have won, and only 15 drivers have been able to take part in the playoff season. Corey is going to become the 14th driver and the 14th driver to win a race and the 16th driver to enter the playoffs. He's done it. Corey wins in JACKOCAR.
And what a time to do it. The man who started the championship today in 15th place is through, and Kyle is out of the race. He would have been on for the podium. Not anymore. Is that Kieran on the podium in the end?
It is.
Has Kyle... Do you know what Kyle's done?
His top 10 run is over. 25 races and it's gone.
Yeah, do you know what he's tried to do there, Kyle? Do you reckon he's just done to try to do the classic? Oh, let me crash across the line. I'm such a comedian. And he might have just done it a bit too early. And Kyle has handed the podium to Kieran, of all people.
Wow.
Can't say I expected that one.
And Khalifa, what an awful race he had, and still finishes P5 and is your regular season champion for season 3.
So, Kieran then, obviously, sadly, he's 19th in the standings coming in today, so that podium hasn't really done much to help his championship fight. But he does get his best result in JACKOCAR, I'm sure that is, from that, so, I mean... Yeah.
Kyle's left the session in disgrace.
Kyle can't believe what he's just done. But yeah, Corey straight away calling it, as you did, and I didn't pick up on it until, well, I did, but, I didn't in time. He's very much aware he was trying to be murdered.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this might end up going to the stewards. I have a feeling Riley might end up in a bit of trouble.
Right,
oh.
I'm going to see if we can confirm.
I think it's actually Arnold who's taken Kyle out. He's saying, I thought we were over the finish line. And there's been some sort of accident there. And he hasn't gone and taken him out before the line, has he?
Very quickly. We'll sum that up afterwards. Corey advances to the playoffs. Catchman Jake is in. OKK, I think, is in. And Thomas is in, and I think Cam misses out. That's the early things, but Cam might be in and OKK might be out. It's very hard to do without doing the maths.
We will obviously let you know who gets through. The chat is in absolute pandemonium now because Riley clearly doesn't understand. the mood they're arguing about, we saw it live, was Corey dive bombed him, and Riley didn't see him, and so he turned in like he was taking the corner normally. And shock horror, they made contact. So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, that is it then. We'll follow on Twitter, JACKOCAR's account, because I'll have the standings there for you, and we'll have it all sorted for who's in the playoffs. But for now, we're done. Where are we next week, Jacko? Belgium.
And it's the beginning of the playoffs.
Indeed. So, Spa, classic track. We all love it. Apart from a couple of people who don't like me because of certain events in this league. But, you know, we'll ignore them. Just hope TC doesn't cause any dive bombs or any accidents or anything. But yeah, Spa next week. Playoffs getting underway. Join us then, same time, same place, as always, 7 PM UK on the JACKOCAR channel. Thank you all for watching, and until next time,